I'm your host, Teri Angel, and we have a beautiful group of people here with us today to talk about this book for the last time online. I'm sure we'll be talking about it for years to come because it's a wonderful book. But right now, we are going to discuss Angel Code by Anaya Joy Holili. And today we have with us Jean Lorio. Thank you, Jean, for holding up the book. Linda Lemieux.
Hi.
Who also has the hard copy. Mary Lou.
Hi, y'all.
Hers. Christina Leftwich has the hard copy. And Grace Isons is with us. I do not have a hard copy because it's really hard for me to carry a lot of books around in the Angel Mobile, but I do have it on Kindle. I have the Kindle version and just love this book. And we decided last week that we needed today to just wind it up and give any other insights, anything that came through for us, and to also pick a question from the back of the book. And we'll all be talking about what we want to share from that. So I'm going to open it up for us. Hello, hello, everybody.
Hi.
Where's Charlie?
Charlie, he had a meeting or something he was doing this afternoon. I talked to him this morning.
Oh, I thought he had it after this. I'm sorry.
I think he said he had it after 2. So he had to leave at 2 on the dot. Kind of thing. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, I have something if you'd like somebody to start this time.
I would love our birthday girl.
Happy birthday. The Weave of Life. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful birthday. And on page 98, Anaya wrote, allow abundance. Truly, it is there all the while, available for those who see beyond the veil of fear, fear not. As you weave, be aware of transformation of the process, for it is the cloth of life that is passing through your hands. As you add your texture to the weave, you leave a blessing for all those who follow in your wake. I thought it was so appropriate, because I am celebrating my birth, coming into this beautiful world. And it reminded me of a lesson that I had done with some high school kids back in the day when I was employed. And it was not so much weaving, but it was creating a quilt. Do you weave with a quilt? I'm not a quilt maker. No. You sew, right? You sew.
You sew squares.
Yes. And it had the story of a person that found a quilt that had been eaten. And she loved the quilt. It was handed down to her, through generations. And she requested to her family that they place this moth-eaten quilt over her body after she had passed when they were in mourning. And then it talked about how her soul went up to the heavens, and Jesus was then holding the quilt, and he put together back all of those moth-eaten, and she looked at it from the front side, and she was such in awe of the beauty of that, the time and the creativity and love that person had put to make it a quilt. But then Jesus turned it around, and all the lights where the moths had eaten away, they shone through. And so the lesson was, there's good and there's bad in the weaving of our lifetime. And sometimes when it feels like it's the bad, negative times, that's when the light is allowed to come through, and then it blesses other people in ways we don't even know. So I just thought that was kind of tied in for me, that memory that I had of that other lesson, and what Anaya was saying, about be aware of your true motivation. Your purpose will come clear. It's just I love her book. I love it. It's so wonderful for me. I feel blessed and graced to have been introduced to her as a person. I've been following her a little bit, as well. And she's just a beautiful soul, isn't she?
Yes, she is. Mary Lou, thank you. That just, oh my gosh, that just opened up so many thoughts for me. And, as I could visualize that quilt that was moth eaten, it's kind of like a metaphor for our lives, isn't it? How when we go through those struggles and those challenges and those fires of life, it's like little holes being poked in us. And so when we look at it in
Right there.
positive aspect, we're seeing the light flowing where we had, something that we endured that maybe we looked at as this is not so pleasant to go through, but afterward we can look back on it and we can see the blessing that came through that. I really appreciate you sharing that with us today. That was just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've heard too, it was reminding me, I was just reading this actually in the last probably 48 hours, a reference to a metaphor that we're not broken, we're stained glass. We're a stained glass mosaic masterpiece.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The same concept.
Same concept, yeah.
It reminded me of something where we're not broken, but we have cracks sometimes in our life. And it's through these cracks that the light shines in. So yeah, it's the same concept that, things that we go through that are so hard, they bring us light, bring us knowledge, bring us awareness of the beauty of the divine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome to Charlie and Erica. Thank you for being on with us. And Stacey has joined us virtually, and she says, I'm so happy to see your beautiful faces. We're all praying for you, Stacey, and wanting you to feel better. So get some much needed rest and be back with us very soon.
Oh, nice to see you, Erica. I've been missing
nice to see you. I miss you too. I miss you all a lot.
Thank you.
Erica. When you guys were talking, like I know I didn't get in on the beginning of the conversation, but it made me think of that story of the cracked pot and how they carried the pot and they carried the pot, and then all the flowers that pot watered when they lost the water. That's what made me think of.
I like that story too.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And where are all the flowers?
Oh, good one, Teri.
Passing.
Peace and love,
Flowers.
flower children.
Remember that song? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing.
Yeah.
I was thinking of if you go to San Francisco, be sure to wear a flower in your hair. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know one, like a sunflower that follows every moonlight of the sun. So I turn toward you to follow you, my God.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Lots of pretty
Wow.
flower songs, aren't there?
Beautiful.
Mhm.
I love
Charlie,
sun-
are you growing your flowers like you did?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You'll have to show them to us sometime.
What happened was I started them too soon in the greenhouse.
Oh.
And they all blossomed and they came away or went away already. But new ones are coming up. So
Nice.
when they come up again,
What about
But-
all the flower pots you designed?
Yeah, we put flowers all around them in all the pots.
Nice.
I got like 7 in the back and 3 in the front, 10 or 11 pots that
Great.
with flowers. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a lot of
At least $500 with flowers purchased just recently. Not counting the original ones.
It's just money.
That's what he
Go
said.
to
He said,
something
"Oh, we want more."
beautiful.
Pick another one, pick another one. He had me do the last 3 piles.
I let her design them, so she got to, you know. I just
She's
like it,
involved.
I just like it looking nice, and I finally got done with my 15 yards of mulch.
Thank you, Jesus. That's my miracle.
Wow.
But you know what? It wasn't enough. I need another 7 yards. It's
Next
like,
year.
it's like I think I'm done for the year.
Yeah.
I think
Unless my son's gonna come and do it, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of work. It's not so much putting the mulch down; it's doing all the weeding. It's like pulling out all the weeds to begin with. It's like what? Now I know
Sometimes
what.
I put the mulch down and then pull the weeds. The ones that make it through the mulch.
people out west have the right idea. Just throw some gravel out there.
Or you can put down,
You go to Arizona and you do the desert landscaping.
That's right. The desert landscaping. It's beautiful.
That's what I did when I lived in Arizona. I worked as a desert landscaper.
How long did you live in Arizona? Tell us.
Oh, it was only for 6 months. I flew there and then I hitchhiked home from Arizona.
How old
Wow.
were you, Charlie?
I was 18.
How much did you drink, Charlie? He don't remember nothing. He was
Don't go
drinking
there.
rock.
He's not supposed to. You walk
I
speed
was-
forward.
His rock for ice cubes, my friend.
Oh,
What
well,
did you all?
It was
Sorry.
crazy. I had long hair, and all the cowboys, if you were hitchhiking, they tried to run you over, you know.
oh yeah.
So you had to watch out for the pickup trucks.
Wow.
And you knew not to go to the bars with all the pickup trucks.
You adapt to your environment.
I have something to say, guys. Sorry to quelch all our lovely conversations. On page 32, Teri, this morning's morning kappa was that, you know, one of the questions was the seeking of what modalities and which ways suit each and every individual on their path and their growth spiritually. And on page 23, it says here, find the key to our hidden resources. We offer you that which is yours already. The choir is always in need of voices. Many voices ring. Clear the way, for room will be needed for the world to travel as travel it must. Many hearts beating. Yeah, and this is from the 25th of June, right? So it says, many hearts beat in time with your own, just right. Do not try to leap ahead of yourself. The steps unfold as necessary. Now is not the time. Second guessing is not in your best interest. Be still. Find your own company. Seek to become open to direction. And the next one also has a lot to say with what Teri was telling us, that sometimes you need to step back. You're exposed to all
Is what page, honey?
Page 32.
On
And
32?
yes, it's the June 25th and the June 30th as well.
On 32, I have April 1st.
I do.
too.
What
Is it
year?
132?
No, 32, page 32. It's the year 2001. It's 25th of June and 30th of June.
I
Because
have
even
April on page 32.
okay.
Are you in the book?
Yes,
I'm in the book.
I'm in
I
the
have
Kindle.
April on
Sorry.
32.
Okay, I'm in the Kindle. So look for
Okay.
yes.
Bet. Yep.
Yes, look for the
Okay.
date, 25th of June and the 30th of June, 2001.
Okay.
That's
June.
hard because they're not in any order.
The 25th is on page 72.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
And yes, and
now
I
we
think
got.
And then we just have to turn the page for the 30th.
yes,
Okay.
and
Grace, you were sharing.
yes, and I was just sharing that Terry had mentioned because there were a lot of questions this morning on Kappa Joy, as in how we are all searching and we're being introduced to all these new modalities, which is good for us. And Terry sort of said sometimes we have to step back and sit with what we have and ask the questions. And one of the questions that Terry had asked was, whom would you like to sit down and ask a question to? Terry, I think, was Dalai Lama. Someone else was the Tesla, because they all got downloads. So this I felt was very interesting, because it's saying that, do not mistake your feelings of fear for that which is not. Do not expect to proceed without fear. Blah, blah, blah. But it said, find the key to our hidden resources, that they have been offered to us by the angels. And on the 30th, it says, rest a while. That's the one that really clung with me for today's message. It says, rest a while. All is not lost to you. For now, be alone. Be available to yourself alone. Quiet moments bring solace. Along the way, gift yourself kindness. Rest your burdens from time to time, as no shoulders are designed for constant struggle. Be as the stream, find your path, be gentle in your course. As times a trickle, then as the path widens, allow your flow to run its course freely. I think that is so powerful. And today, Terry, when we were meditating, I actually was saying the Christ codes, and I have seen the download of all the other Christ code yantras, Jean, that we had gone through with Sonia. So
Right.
yes, it's so wonderful. I think this book is just right on schedule, and we have to be reminded. Sometimes we're seeking, then we feel lost, then we feel confused, and yet sometimes we just have to step back and whatever comes down, ask whatever comes in, ask for what is it, what's the message, and stop. Sometimes it's okay. So her book. Thank you.
Yes, that pause is one of the biggest tools that I use, just so you know, and that's why I teach it so much. It's like whenever you're confused or you just need clarity, or maybe you're just going into a vibration that's uncomfortable, just hit that pause button. Just step back, step away. And Grace Isis, thank you for reading those passages, because yeah, it's like a little confirmation after our discussion this morning on the morning show, to just stop, and say, wait, like what Karen Palmer teaches us, wait, what am I thinking? And really look at that and examine it. So many times we read something or we hear something and we just keep going, right? We just keep going. And instead of really stopping and getting the message of it and letting it go into us and integrate it into who we are and what we're all about. So yeah, I love this. This is like a
yes. And then we start questioning our journey, our process, our evolving, our evolution, because we're all spirit and we all have the same. We're all gifted. It's what spirit is. But it's, are you resonating? Are you open? And then we see others and we're like, I want to be like that. I want to do like that. But you have your own. And as Terry says, just stop. If you want to be a shaman, then there's nothing wrong, but you need to then stop and resonate with that and ask, is that where I'm going? What does it involve? And wait and yeah. Thank you, Terry.
beautiful. Thank you, Grace Isis. Thank you for sharing.
I think we're all trying to go to the same place. but we're all taking different paths. And sometimes you have to make U-turns, or you have to, you like you said, it says in other places too about be careful of haste. Although you do want to move forward, because right after what she read, it says, stop talking and do it. Your path awaits. If you're not, your true motivation leads you onward. So yes, we can't just be all about talking. We have to move, but we do have to not be hasteful, because in haste, you make mistakes. And but it's going to be a beautiful journey for everyone in their own way. And I think sometimes you change. As you change, then your choice changes, your path changes, and maybe your modality changes, whatever you felt you were called to. You say, wait a minute, I think I resonate with this much better. I think I would be better doing this. So, but I wanted to ask everybody what they thought of the questions. That's what we were going to talk about.
Exactly.
Now, before we do that, though, Gina, what you were just saying is so important. And I think it comes down to divine timing. Mm-hmm. We can hear something, we can feel the nudge to do something, but when we're ready and when Spirit's ready to guide us, then it's going to happen. So that patience, sometimes it's not easy, but having the patience is it's going to pay off if we just wait for that divine timing to take place. But I'm with you. I'm ready to go into the questions.
I just want to add one thing to that too, something that I have always rolling around in my mind when I get anxious about, change or what's going on. And I try to go back to two words in there that are become special to me. And it's called the eternal now.
Yes.
Just to live in the moment, and to know that moment is eternal. There's, it's everything that we embraced in our past and everything that we're going toward will always bring us back to that eternal now. Just a thought.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Well, I'll start if no one else wants to jump in. The one question at the end, it's on, if you have the Kindle, it's on page 135. You can never ask too often or for too much. We have all the time in the world for you, our dear one, and then some. I love that. I love hearing that. I get that question asked a lot. It's, are the angels too busy for me? Do they have time for me? I don't want to take up somebody else's time. And that's a lack mentality. The angels are more than plenty for all of us. And so that's what they're saying, that, just ask it, whatever it might be, whatever your heart's desire is, that those rockets of desire that we send out. So the question is to ask for blessings for specific countries and for all people of that country. And of course, the first one that came to mind, in addition to our United States, which needs a lot of angel intervention, is India. And India has gone through so much lately and suffered so much. And we have some very dear friends and family, our Angelic River family members that are in India. So that was one that I put at the top of my list to ask the angels to go and give blessings and touch that land and touch those people. The other one was Ireland. And our dear Ali O'Shea is in Ireland. And they have really been through a lot with coronavirus and with the lockdown and the morale of the people. Because Ireland loves to party and they love to be out and about and socialize. And this has been a really difficult time for them to be under so much restriction, so many lockdowns. So I really lift up those two countries, especially And, I have other countries that are near and dear to my heart, Australia being another one with our dear Gabby, and always praying for her and for Anea and Carol Ann that are also in Australia. So I was able to just like go down and not really prioritize, but just really feel the energy of those lands, of those countries, and put some compassionate energy into it and ask for them to be touched by the angels. So I loved that she added that question in there. And Isabel's asking, what's the name of the book? Can somebody hold up, or all of you hold up your book so she can see it? It's called The Angel Code, Isabel, and it's by Anea Joy O'Lily. You can find it on Amazon. Thank you for asking, and thank you for being here with us today.
I think what I had to keep bringing myself back to on these questions is it's the angels asking us these questions. At first I kind of was removed from that feeling. It was just like, okay, I'm making a list of things. And then it dawned on me, no, the angels are asking us this. And that really changed my perspective of how in a way that I was answering them, under the country one, I also put in, and I don't really know, and I apologize to Grace Isis, but I had put down Kenya and I had put down Mozambique, and there's a whole bunch of countries in there that I don't know their names. I can't, but for years they've been having all kinds of conflicts and, fighting and deaths and I was hoping that the angels, hearing my prayer for them, that they might bring them some comfort and peace. So I don't know. For some reason, it just kind of changed my mind about my answers when I realized for sure that it was the angels who were asking this. We tend to think of it being Anaya, but it's not. It's the angels. The whole book is the angels that are telling us that,
Good point, Jane.
And, and it brings me closer to them. I feel like they're really trying to embrace us and really trying to show us that they're there to help and we should call on them, So anyway, that was my piece.
Thank you, Jean, for mentioning and calling out countries in the continent of Africa. I think that's what you were sort of narrowing
Yes.
down to, because you have civil wars that have been going on in West Africa. We have the Diamond Wars, Sierra Leone, and we also have the conditions in South Africa with apartheid and all that. And you come up to the East Coast where you have, let's look at Central, where you have the genocide in Rwanda and Burundi, which are on the east, the Hutus. You have the Sudan with Darfur, Ethiopia. And in Kenya too, we had the skirmishes with the tribes, the different tribes. So thank you for lifting that continent up. That's what you were thinking about. And you also have, the burnings up in North Africa, Libya, so Tunisia. So thank you for lifting my continent up, remembering it. Thank you.
Yes.
We can't let the United States go unspoken either. I had written that down, as a deep, heartfelt request that somehow, in some way, we could have a renewal and a rebirth, with the dedication of the people that came here originally, and the people, in a respect for the people that were here. that we stole from, that we took, and that we abused. And you know, how important it is for us to constantly go back to that place of this land and the way it was before Europeans came here, before, you know, people from all continents came here, and that we can grow in a respect for the, you know, the true depth of our original land.
Yes, thank you, Mary Lou.
Well, how many of us have Native American blood?
Yeah.
You know,
My
so
husband does.
let's see. So, you know, it's kind of unusual to say that we stole it from them when we're actually part of them too. So, you know, history, I don't know what I was at that time, but it's a good chance I was Native American at that time. So, you know, it's just complicated. History's complicated. The world's complicated. The only thing that's simple is love. And people just won't grab onto that, you know, and make it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just,
No
you're
problem.
resonating with me.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I agree. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I didn't mean to say that. That was really loud out loud.
Not be loud out loud. One thing that has really been a burden on my heart lately is I'm finding out more and more about the race crimes of the indigenous people, and how I was crying the other day because there was I don't know what elected official she is, but she was beaten severely and left for dead because she was Native American. And that goes on a lot more than we are aware of because it's not making mainstream media news. You know, we hear about other race crimes and other injustices, but that's one that we don't hear a lot about. And I just really have this burden on my heart that we need to come together more for the indigenous people and to support them in, you know, the trials and tribulations that they go through and are still going through. So that was just something I wanted to bring out, and thank you, Mary Lou, for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
I just want to interrupt and say I have to leave. My husband's having trouble with his brakes, and he's going to leave the car at the repair shop, so I have to go get him.
Okay,
Linda.
we'll see you soon.
Okay,
Love
he's
you,
okay.
Linda. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Love you,
Bye.
Linda.
We'll see you soon.
Love you.
Be
Okay, love you
careful.
too. Okay.
I want to thank you, Jean, for helping us to remind, well, not helping, but reminding us that these are questions that the angels are giving us. And you're right. If we look at it like that, then we are getting even more from these questions at the end, because there's the one that says, list a blessing COVID has revealed or is revealing in some way for yourself or others. And why I say that is because they do tell us that it can be extremely challenging, but they say, you know, not to delve into too many of the questions that they are asking us, or that we are supposed to ask them. And this one is a very good one because it also reminds us, even when we're talking about the governments and the indigenous people and what we're seeing, they're telling us, bring it up, you know, just mention it to us, but do not take it and put it in your DNA. That's not what we want you to do. We just want you to let us know that you are aware and you ask us, so what's going on? Again, it's all enlightenment, it's all understanding, it's all saying, you know, my nature is, my truth is, I am compassionate. You know, how it's allowing us to also thrive with the questions that we're asking the angels. And with this one about they do say you're strong, you're beautiful, but it says only ask that you ponder on it. That's all they ask. They say just ponder on it. And I think that's just so wonderful. And that's going to allow us to say, yes, I can, like what Teri said, yeah, has come into my consciousness, and put it there and ponder and ask them. And you get the resolution, you get a response, an answer. And then you surround it in love so that you can also move on. I feel the angels are here to help us, not to help us get stuck in something. I don't know if that makes sense.
But the COVID thing, just think we wouldn't know one another if it wasn't for that.
Exactly.
We wouldn't, there would be no soulful book club. We wouldn't know one another. It would be, I wouldn't probably never met Teri or Erica.
I knew Christine. Not Christina, but Christine. I knew Christine before COVID. Ha ha. And you probably met me in the past. Think of it.
But you know what? I kind of don't believe that, Charlie, because I believe that, for one thing, I believe that we were meant to be together, that we're a group of people that have probably been together many, many times before. And I believe that if God's purpose was for us to be together, we would be together. It might not have happened this way. It might have happened another way. But you're right, because of COVID, we started searching faster, sooner, maybe, and we found each other. You're right about that. So, but I feel like nothing's going to get in the way of God's plan. And if his plan was for us to be together, then we'll be together,
It would have been nicer if we got together around, Arizona and traveling with Teri and going from place to place with her, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that have been nice?
I see the big yellow bus.
Oh, I love the bus. We got to do the bus again.
The Partridge Family bus. We got to paint it pretty with peace and love, like a peace train.
Yes.
Yes. I would love that.
It would be so cool if we could, meet each other and just all of a sudden know, oh, I was meant to meet you, like where God dropped us all into a certain restaurant at the same time in a certain state. That would be cool. But could you imagine? We would all think that the others were insane. If we all met at a McDonald's and we just happened to bump into each other and become a group like this.
And
I don't know.
And one of the questions. Oh, go ahead.
I look at complete strangers all the time and think, boy, I bet you her and I or he and I could be friends.
Yeah. Well, I think I can be friends with almost anyone.
Right. Driving on the streets, he can, and people get in his way.
I can. And one of the one is list at least 5 qualities you love, value, and appreciate about yourself. And there's no need to rush it. Please write at least one before moving on. Makes you feel, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. So, so for me, it's being compassionate. I think Grace said it before, it's one of the qualities that, that resonates with me. So anyway, that was That was one of the ones I was going after, questions or whatever. But anyway.
Thank you.
I only put down one, Charlie.
Oh, okay.
What'd you put, Jean?
I put down kindness.
Yeah.
I wrote my ability to love others as they are.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I have learned the lesson of life, not to judge others, because we don't know their story. We don't know what's journeys that they've been on, what pain they've suffered or losses that they've had. And, I want that for myself. I want to be loving toward other people and, and just accept them as they are. Maybe that's because I want that for myself as well. It's that, that sense of, give and take and genuineness about emotion and like you said, Charlie, being compassionate, it comes into that. Yeah.
Do unto others, right, Mary Lou? Do
What,
unto
Teri?
Do unto others as you would
Yeah.
have others do unto you.
Yes. There's so many expressions like that are life messages, that God has given us through Jesus and through, all of the great religious leaders in our world. Hopefully I've learned it. I've listened. I think I probably have a lot more to learn. I'm quite sure of it. I listened to my father-in-law's turning 94 this year, and some of the things that he comes out with, I cringe with, because he's very direct and very sure of himself. He's a Vermont farmer, and they have a reputation, for telling you like it is, but then he comes out with the most wonderful, deep, wise things, that he's learned over time. Yesterday we had supper together and he was saying, oh, I guess I'm going into my second childhood. And he stared at me when he said it, and I didn't respond, and he said, what is second childhood anyway? Why do people say that? What do they mean by it? And I'm like, I don't know what second childhood means, because we kind of all want to go back to that place of being, vulnerable and have someone take care of us and be comfortable with that. There's so many things about childhood that are blessings, and it's not a negative thing to go back into your second childhood, but sometimes it's said in that way, oh, he's in his second childhood, like it's a demeaning thing, and I was glad that we were on the same page with it, that I don't think it has to be demeaning or negative. I think it's a good thing to go back into your second childhood. I think we earn it by that time, we deserve it. And it's a good thing.
Yeah. And there's some of us that are so in touch with our inner child, we never leave the first childhood.
There you go.
That's right. I always said to people, I'm not childish, I'm childlike. Don't confuse that. It's not an insult to me to call me childlike.
There's a book or I don't remember if it's a poem written in a book, but one of the lines or the name of the book is, when I grow old, I shall wear purple.
Yes.
And she talks about how she'll walk in the rain and how she'll do all these things that you don't do as a grown-up because people think you're crazy, or it's not appropriate. But when she's old, she's going to do that. And I think that's what it means to be in your second childhood, is to be free to enjoy life and do what you wanted to, regardless of what people think. So.
And that poem, it spurned a whole movement of people wearing purple and was it purple and red hats?
And red hats, yes.
Society, yeah. Just being able to be free to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to be a certain age to do that. You know, why do they wait? Oh, well, you have to be 55 in order to join that club. No, you don't. You can start any day, anytime, just to be free to be who you are.
Right.
Exactly.
Erica, did you answer one of the questions in the back?
You know, it feels like it was so long ago, and we didn't really write them. What?
Oh, you can look at some of the questions.
I don't know. He's confusing me by putting things in front of me, saying
I'm just list some of the questions.
he's listing questions. Okay.
If you wanted to share.
I was told by like one of my guys one time that my problem is that I love everybody. And that's, you know, and that's just it. So like, that's one of my, that I think is a good quality, is that I'm very approachable, especially to people with like special needs. Like, people will make it a joke, but like, you know, I get sorted out in, you know, in the store, when I worked in the doctor's office, whatever. Special individuals just find me. I'm just like a magnet, you know? So I'm going to say that. Good? Auntie Jean, is that good?
That's good.
Okay, I thought you.
And I think it's very true. I think you do. You have so much compassion and love, and it's like a radar you send out, and people, they're drawn into that. And I'll bet every single one of you, you go somewhere and someone will talk to you, or they'll approach you, or they'll ask something because they see that light in you. They see that reflection. It's just that little girl who was drawn to you because she saw the angel you are. And I think that's for all of us. Like Charlie said, we have compassion. Compassion is part of our very being. And people see that and they pick up on it. Her Grace Isis, and that happened to you a lot? Maybe she
Yes,
took
it
a nap.
does.
Okay.
Yes, it does. It does a lot, and sometimes it could just be when I used to work at banquet, I'd just be serving someone, and they're like, "Oh, I love your necklace, or I love your hair, or something," and then I just say thank you very much, and then sometimes it's just a prelude to my discussing with them, but they were so drawn to me, and we just start talking, and I give them a message. So I think you're so right. With me, like Teri, I was just so overwhelmed and overjoyed when I was at the airport, on the airplane, and this family of 3 children, a 3-year-old, a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And they chatted with me as we were coming off the plane, and I had my mask. And as I had told all of you, when I got to the taxi stand, they came running, and I was a little bit, kind of like, oh my goodness. And their parents were coming. And they were like, here, there she is. And I chatted with them and I said, okay, let's go back to where your parents are. And they sat on the floor. So I had to tell them, you've got to be careful now. We're out in New York City, in LaGuardia. But to me, my measuring rod is children. Children mostly. If I can get a raised eyebrow from a child and a look of wonder and intensity, it means they see my light. So thank you, Jean. Yes, you're right. And so,
Exactly.
Erica, keep going.
My husband's always saying, why will that little girl talk to you? She wouldn't even smile at me. But I think it's, in a way, it's not so much us as it is the divine that they're attracted to. They see that light. And Erica, you just beam all that affection and compassion, and that's why they come to you, you know? And that's not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And that's why Charlie's attracted to you.
Probably playing fantasy baseball on his cell phone.
I have to do it.
He has to do it, he said.
He's multitasking.
Probably can't multitask.
Christina, did you have anything to share before we end the show today?
Not particularly. I mean, everybody kind of got the a lot of the questions that I had kind of looked at.
No, we're not going to let you get away with that.
Okay.
Here's one. Ask,
No.
ask for
He's your
blessings
auntie,
for
so
animals, nature, the ocean,
I
and
know.
atmospheres.
I couldn't even stop with that one. And the thing of it is that I had done that one right after I had done that government one, it seems like. And I was like, well, geez, I wish I had just gotten this one, because the government one, I had a little different reaction where it was, I said, I have a tough time not thinking on a global scale as a planet. And when I was struggling with that, the thought came across that the angels don't really observe our rules of boundaries when it comes to places on the earth. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so that was very freeing for me to just be able to look much more at a global thing. And then, of course, when I saw that the one with the earth and planet and so of course I sent out healing blessings. I did apologize that it looks like we humans are waking back up again, and just, I hate to say it, but it kind of looks like we're just getting back to some of our old ways. Like we're like the one of the blessings from COVID-19 for me that I put down was that it was so quiet. And I noticed that as somebody who lives in rural America, I couldn't get over how there was lack of noise coming from off the streets. And I mean, and this would be for hours and hours and hours on end. This was at the beginning when we were really staying quiet. And I just feel like some of that's starting to wake up again. So I definitely sent, the blessings of healing, and that I hope we can get back to be more mindful as a people. But like I said, then I got, just throw all that away too. It's just open. I don't know. I felt very free doing these questions. I'm not sure what that was all about. And the other thing was that allowing truths really came through for me, that it's okay to question. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm really the black sheep, so to speak, or the odd man out kind of a scenarios. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But at the same time, it's like, man, why? Because that COVID did a lot of things, and there was a lot of this that happened with me during COVID. So I thought long and hard on that whole COVID one. And I want to thank Anaya for, addressing that this might be a little hard for some people to actually sit with. And so I really let myself sit with it. And I just, the different truths and stuff you know, and that it's okay to have different ideas of what the truth is. Because it's our own truth. It's not that truth doesn't exist. I don't subscribe to that anymore, where everything is fake and everything's an illusion. No, we're living in our truth, and that's what it is. And I'm not gonna say that it's not. So, and that's okay too. That was a permission I got after reading her book, to be honest with you. There's a part in there, and I wish I had marked it down, but I distinctly remember saying something about our truth, and that's okay to be in our truth. So I appreciated that. But that's it. I appreciated a lot in this book. I can thank her for me going on a trip, because she was talking about enjoying the journey and just going with it and not thinking about things. And so something showed up about one of the top 10 kayaking spots in Michigan, which we have a lot of nice kayak spots. So it popped up, and literally this morning before I came on book club, I was booking a trip without even thinking about it. I just was like, you know what? I asked my husband and I did it. He's like, yeah, do it.
Beautiful.
We have to go.
Good.
Goodbye,
Hi,
everyone.
Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Erica.
Good
See you
afternoon.
soon.
Love
Have
you
a
all.
great day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Christina. It really has touched a lot of hearts, and I hope that it touches so many millions more. I really pray that this book just explodes into the world and people are able to be touched by the angels and through these words that Anea was able to pen and put down on paper. I wanted to read Isabel, who's with us. We were talking earlier about the countries, and she says, when we honor one continent, we have to honor all of them, because we as spiritual beings are all one and integrated. Love is all over, unconditional love. I honor with all my respect all continents, even the ones I'm not in touch with right now. Yeah, we don't have to have physically been there or even know anybody from those continents to send them love. Whenever I pray for our earth, I pray for all of it, you know, every bit of it. I still believe that it's a round rock. I know there's some that don't believe that, but I do, and I see it connected in that circle that, you know, there's no beginning, there's no end. We're all equal. Every continent is equal. So thank you, Isabel, for your words, and thank you for joining with us. Stacy, thank you for joining with us. I hope you're still there. If not, I hope you're getting some much needed rest. And thank you all who came onto Zoom today. This has been beautiful to spend this time together. Now we start into a new book. We're going to be working through The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Anybody have the book?
Get up.
I ordered it today.
Yeah. Oh, Teri, Teri, can I say one last thing before we put the angel code aside?
Yes, thank you, Jean, for showing the book. Yes, Grace Isis.
Yeah, I just want to, something resonated and I was told to put this forth, that the divine assignment is really a roadmap for our prayers as well. And because it does say, put yourself first. And the angels do tell us, say this aloud as part of your prayer. So I just wanted to say that's how I have been using it, and I'm going to use it as my roadmap for my prayers.
There you go. Beautiful. I love that. So next week, we'll talk about The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. I love this book. And I'm excited that we're doing this book and getting into the energy of gratitude, because that's what it's all about. It's gratitude. And that is the magic. It's gratitude. So thank you all for being here. I've really enjoyed working through and reading and understanding more about the angel code, and just share it out. Just let people know that it's a beautiful book. And I think if we can all go on to Amazon, if you purchased it through Amazon, go on and do a review of this book for Anea. That would help her tremendously. As an author that's on Amazon, I know how important that is. And just give that little review, whatever it feels like. You know, I've written many reviews for books on Amazon, and some of them were rejected. And I don't understand their criteria is for rejecting a review of a
Opinion.
book. Yeah, but
Right.
it happens. So if it gets
Wow.
rejected, they say whatever, you know, we're not going to publish that, then just rewrite it. Just change the words and send it back in again. Be persistent, because let's get her boosted up and really get this book out there for Anaya. Thank you all for being here. So much love to every one of you. I love you so much. And
For the time. Namaste.
Namaste. y'all.
Namaste, y'all.
see y'all later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you all.